Hi, this is Chip,
And this is Christianna.
and we are here to talk about our trip to Perth, Australia. So as you may recall, we went to Perth because I was celebrating my 60th birthday, which we called my Perth Day. And so we spent 4 days in and around Perth.
It was an easy flight. It was by far the easiest flight we've taken since we've been here, since it was about 3 hours from here to Perth, nonstop. It was quick. It seemed quicker than even Singapore.
The route that the plane took to get into Perth was really neat because it basically gave us sort of a prelude to the areas that we would be looking at, among them Fremantle, which is this kind of little port city at the mouth of the Swan River, and then we flew right in over Perth itself, and it's really a beautiful city. It's about 2.2 million people. I'll check that, but I think that's right. And it's one interesting thing about it is that it's one of the most remote cities in the world. It's about 1,200 miles from the next city of any of like a million population, and there's a feel in the city of just real civic pride about their kind of uniquely isolated position in Australia.
I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect about Perth, but I knew that Chip really wanted to go there. So it was his birthday, and off we went.
The way to get down to Fremantle is on a train. It's actually kind of more of a subway than a train, but it took about 45 minutes from the main train station in Perth, and I think there are probably about a dozen stops along the way, and then you end up in the main train station at Fremantle, which is a block from the start of the downtown. It's sort of a charming old city. It is probably about 150 years old. Lots of buildings from the 19th century and a very kind of nautical feel about it.
Sort of reminded me of Northwest Portland, the kind of shops and boutiques and restaurants and street performance art, which was fun to watch.
So after we were done with our walking about in Fremantle, we hopped back on the train and headed back into Perth, where that afternoon, late afternoon, we got on a twilight cruise and went up the Swan River, which is the river that goes right through Perth, and it's just beautiful. The Swan River is pretty wide at Perth. It's one of those sort of estuarial rivers, so it's very influenced by the ocean. And you can see that the city has put a lot of money into some of the infrastructure, the bridges over the river and the stadium in the city where they play, I think, both soccer and cricket. And just some beautiful homes along the Swan River. We took the ferry down to Rottnest, and that left right from basically the same place that we caught the twilight cruise the evening before. This boat went all the way down the Swan River to Fremantle. We didn't stop, but we went right past the train station that we had been at the day before. That took about 40 minutes, and then the trip over to Rottnest Island is in the ocean, so it's a little bit choppier seas, but just beautiful, and that took probably another half an hour, 40 minutes. The color of the water was just astounding, just this deep blue, and as we got into the shallows near Rottnest, the colors sort of lightened up. Part of the tour that we'd signed up for was on segways.
And while we were waiting, it was very hot and very fly-filled.
Pretty much everybody was just sort of spent a lot of time doing this. I think what do they call that? Somebody said that they call that the Australian wave or the Rottnest wave or something, where you're just kind of constantly doing this. But so the big adventure was the Segway tour, which,
and these were off-road segways. These weren't your city segways. They had super wide tires, so we could go on the trails and in the outback.
On the outback of Rottnest Island along the beach.
It was really fun.
One of the unique features of Rottnest is that it's got the highest population of these little marsupials called quokkas. The way their mouth is shaped, if they look at you, it looks like they're smiling. I just have nothing but good things to say about the city. It felt like sort of a bigger version of Portland. Again, civic pride and great infrastructure right on the water. Just really a nice city. I would go back there in a heartbeat. Final thoughts?
I'm a fan. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't really have any expectations going into it, and it turned out to be just a charming, delightful city. Very nice trip.
So our next video will be Reflections on Bali. Why are we going to give a video on Reflections on Bali?
Stay tuned. Big news.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll be in touch.
Bye.